Welcome back to Bee Loft by Liptech. We're down here at the Madison Apiary on March 12th. It's a Wednesday. I took the day off. It's 11 o'clock, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius. We got the hives over here, the 5 over there, and 4 over here, which I'm going to check into the dead outs. We might be taking some of those boxes back with us just to help clean them up. And we'll be searching these. We'll set our swarm trap over here. We're probably going to be losing this apiary this year. My friend's going to sell the property, so I'm going to keep it as long as I can and end up moving the bees at the end of summer. I don't plan on moving them now unless he, for some reason, would sell it early. So we'll get to the bees here in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to look at these hives here. The sun's just coming around on them. So the bees aren't super active. We still have bees in here. I've seen a couple fly out. That was a dead out. That was dead out. We still have bees flying over here. Let's see, coming back in right now. They need help getting this newspaper out from the sugar feeding that I put on them. So we will put this on the tripod and start our inspections. See a lot of bees coming in right now. There's some pollen on that one. So the other bees will be a lot more active when we get over there because they're in full sun. So, but it's just starting to warm up here. So stay tuned. Okay, so I popped open this hive here. And we still have some sugar up top. They're doing a good job of eating it. We got some extra sugar down there. Extra honey, I should say. They've already attached this bottom, that's why it's so hard. And we got brood up here, right in this spot here. Yep, there's your sealed cap brood there. So bees are definitely getting going here. So I'm going to close this back up here. Okay, so I got in this bottom box. What's going on here is that's the rest of the cluster. This is a really small hive that made it through the winter. All the food is gone here. A little bit of honey out on the edge, but this is gone. This is done. So these bees are going to slowly repopulate. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I'm going to slide these frames over. See, there's no honey on this one. We got a few dead bees on here. Got a hive beetle there. So we're just going to set that all the way over like so. Keep this frame where it's at. And then this frame that was on the outside, I'm going to move towards the middle. Still has lots of honey on it, both sides. So that's going to help these bees. Let me clean this off right here. We'll just stick this back in here. That way the honey will be closer to the bees. And then when I come back in a few weeks, hopefully the population will have grown. And we can, I'm going to leave this honey in here. And we can get back at them. I'm going to put this up top again. Try not to squish any bees. Take my frame rest off. There we are. I'm going to leave this little bit of sugar on top, and I'm going to give them a little bit of pollen patty, just enough to help them build through the night if it gets cold over the weekend like it's expected, and hopefully that will help them. So stay tuned. Okay, I wanted to show this. This is the third hive over, and you can see I had newspaper on here with sugar, and this is all that's left of the newspaper. These bees were very industrious and removed all the paper. It's pretty impressive that they got all the way up here and removed that. You can hear the hive roar. I hope you can hear that. Lean into it, and we'll just pop this up real quick. I really don't think there's going to be anything in this top box. I'm going to grab my frame rest. I have a habit of moving things around, and to do my inspections, I should be a little more orderly. But these bees are doing a good job of keeping things nice and clean in here. I need to get into some of these boxes and clean the excess propolis out, so it makes it easier to move these frames. So you can see the bees coming up there. This frame right here, right in the middle, is full of bees. They're they've drawn it out pretty good. There's still a little bit of honey sticking out from last year. So this is very good to see, but I don't think this hive is very heavy. So we're gonna maybe add sugar to them again. Let me lift this box off, and we'll see what comes of that. Don't forget to keep your smoker puffed as you go from one hive to the next, because when you first light your smoker, there's not enough burning embers there to really keep it going unless you puff it from time to time. Yeah, this is fairly light. I'm going to set that down here, and I'm going to check the weight of this next box. Oh, that's got plenty of weight. No sugar needed here. Pop open the frame here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The bees are all the way out to the 6th frame here. So let's pop this off if we can. Just break this 3rd frame. Nice and easy. This frame I built in 21, or had it drawn out in 21, I should say. So it's a 4-year-old frame. I have a habit of marking my frames. I'm not that big of an operator that I need to slow down. Yeah, look at that, full of honey. Just packed there on both sides. So that is what we want to see right now. I'm going to check how close the honey is to the brood here, and if I need to swap some frames around to help get more food to the middle. But I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, this is full here, so that's two full frames of honey. So these have plenty of honey. They don't need any assistance. What's going on here? Looks like this frame just broke, going sideways. Broke the lip of it, but that's okay. It's still all together. All honey again. So we're just gonna set that there. Let's make sure this is separated. Hopefully we're getting to some brood here. We started in on the 3rd frame. So that was the 5th frame, now we're on the 6th frame over. You can hear the bees pick up. There, now we're getting some pollen here. This is a frame that, if I could, I'd push it to the outside. It's got some larger comb in it. So it's more of brood comb, or a drone comb. So as when I come back the next time, I'll rearrange these frames. But I want to see the brood on this one. There we go. Yeah, you can see we have brood right over here, and then still some honey on the outside here. So yeah, this one does not need any help. Maybe just a little pollen patty. It's like we got a hive beetle or two over here on the edge, but These bees are looking good. They're going to build up nicely. We got brood on the other side too. You can see right there. We got some cap brood. So remember, the bees cap at about 9 days in, 10th day, and then at day 21 we'll have new workers. So that means in about 10 days or so we'll have some new worker bees popping out on this hive. So all I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to give them a little pollen patty, just to give them a little extra boost on that. But sugar wise or honey wise, they have plenty of food. They don't need anything except maybe a little pollen. Like I said, I bought a big box of pollen patty a few years ago, and it was I didn't think it would last this long, and I think I've had it for 4 years now. So time to use it up. And I remembered my empty quick container for my excess wax today, so I left it down here at the Madison Apiary. And my friend's got a nice 30 by 40 storage barn that he built a loft, and I'm able to store extra bee equipment there. And now that I bought my own property, I'm going to be moving a lot of these bees there. I'm going to try to I'd like to take a hive from each location at the beginning of the spring, so I have all 5 different genetics, and get them out there, and then figure out which hive I really want to graft from. If I want to make some new queens this year, which I probably will. I've done that for the last 3 years. My second year grafting was a lot better than my first year. First year, I only had like 4 queens. The second year, I did really well. And then last year, I rushed it too much, coming back from Japan, and I just, was in too much of a hurry. I had a couple hives that I liked out at the farm apiary that I thought would be great for grafting from. So next time I go out there, I will make a decision on what hives I want to move and which ones would be the best to take my graft from. I usually only pick one hive to graft from, and I try to graft in my backyard, but because you got to check the frames again after a couple days and make sure the grafts took. And if they didn't, then you got to regraft. And that's the problem I ran into last year, is I didn't get all the eggs out of the queen chamber that I wanted to make. And so when I did that, the bees drew some queen cells on their own, and so then I had to squash those queens and regraft. But I ended up only getting like 3 hives out of that, which was pretty disappointing. But I had so many swarms last year that it was pretty good. I really didn't need to graft queens, so hopefully I can catch up on the swarms this year and not have to worry about them. So you can see the different states of when the bees clear out all the sugar and when there's still some more left. As on the first hive we looked at here, you can see they've cleaned out most of the middle, and it's almost all gone here. And now they're just in the stage of trying to get rid of this excess paper, which I'll get rid of this and go from there. Okay, I made it over here to the other side. You can see how active these bees are. And let's see if we can just zoom in so they're getting closer. You can see bees moving around, and there's some pollen. That's what we're looking for. We want to see some pollen coming in on the bees, which are very active here. A little activity right here is small, and then you can see the bees coming out here, and the final hive here, some pollen going in there. So we'll take a check on these and see how well they're doing. All right, so on this first hive over here, on the second set of hives I have here at the Madison Apiary, we got a little honey left here where they didn't draw at the bottom here. I'm trying to get this hive beetle. There we go. So you can see they didn't draw the comb, but they did draw the bottom of it. Lots of honey. And then this side they didn't draw the bottom, but they drew the top. There's plenty of honey left on this. And the reason why they didn't draw that top, when you look at this next frame here, and you'll get this, you know, if comb doesn't get drawn evenly, all you do is extract this out and then cut it off. But you can see, see here, this comb is a lot wider and sticks out into that space. So, and then they're starting to draw some burr comb on the bottom there. Plenty of honey this one. They don't need any food. I did feed some sugar on it the last time we were here just to make sure there was any doubt. Now I know there's no doubt that they'll have plenty of food to last until April into May. Like I said, out at the farm yesterday, I noticed some nectar coming in. I looked it up. There is, you know, crocuses, wildflowers. Some of the trees, you know, are starting to bud and bloom a little bit. So there is a little bit of nectar out there for them to pull in and start, you know, building up and drawing comb. So on these hives that are really strong, I gotta make sure I get back to them and get to the get into splitting them or giving them more room. This box here didn't have any handles. This was a homemade box by Phil Papura. I bought his equipment last year. He found out he was allergic to bees and sold his equipment. And he's also a maple syrup producer. And I hope to go down to his property and check that out. So you can see the bees here are doing really well. You can see this excess comb up here. So I'm just going to try to get into this one real quick, look at it, and then I'll finish inspecting these hives. And if I find something interesting, I will you know, put it on camera, of course. This hive here is probably a prime candidate to swarm come April if I don't split it or give them more room. I'll have to keep my eye on it, making sure. There's another full frame of honey, looking really good there. I'm gonna set that out here. And because I expect this one to build up pretty darn quick, the way that they're behaving right here. As many bees are still alive. I got a couple hives over that we just looked at that are small clusters. Two of them are really small clusters. And but better to have some bees than no bees. There's our brood right there, looking really good. You can see that. So we got brood on this side. So this hive's looking really good. We got a couple queen cups here. Like I said, starting early. I'm going to squash that now. We don't want to have any swarming early. Lots of bees with pollen at the bottom here. If I can get that on camera, you can see bees with pollen there. Maybe Jordan can highlight them. Circle. But yeah, they're building up nicely. I don't know if I can get the light on here. It's probably hard to see if there's a bunch of pollen in the edge here up by this honey. And they'll take that right and feed the. Okay, I picked it up like this. There we go. So we're just going to put that back here. I'm not going to worry about finding the queen right now. Like I said, this hive might swarm when we get to April. I'm just going to slide these back together. If you guys want to comment and let me know what you'd like me to show, if you'd like me just to focus on one hive. I kind of get lost here, going into all the hives, trying to show everything. It's good to see for people that don't beekeep or just getting into beekeeping, just to see the differences. But sometimes, maybe one week, that might be what I do this season is I'll come in, I'll focus on one hive, do a 5-10 minute video, probably more like 15 minutes, because as I start recording these, you have a lot to say, and sometimes I do get quiet. I know that I'm trying to keep talking while I am, as they say, you should be talking to the camera, informing everybody like you're doing a presentation. And I'm hoping to make these, more interesting so we can get more subscribers. We're closing in on 150. We'll hit 150 and hopefully we'll hit 200 before summer. It'd be great to get to 1,000, but it all takes time. I'll have other videos as we start developing our property that we bought, 44 acres. As I move a hive from here, like I said, I want to take a hive from each of the properties just to get all the genetic makeup in all of them. All right, so I got into the 5-framer here. Looks like we had another loss for the winter. Looks like they started to have some brood here on both sides, and they looks like they might have starved. I know I gave them some sugar the last time I was here. We can pop in here real fast. You can see how many dead bees there are. I mean, it's pretty sad. So I hate all those dead bees. So they were probably clustering up here at the top. Let me pop these frames. Yeah, here's my sugar I had on them. They ate it all. Yep, it's all gone. Apparently it wasn't enough. I'm just going to pop this box off so I can just dump these bees. My guess is, like I said, I just needed more food. These bees were doing really good. That's what happens when you get a month. Because we were here January 9th, I think. And I probably should have put food in between more than just 2 frames. Again, more bees. And more bees. There's so many. That's just really disappointing. There's a little sugar down here. So I'm going to clean this out. Some bees trying to rob out what's left in here. See if I can get this out of here, take it back up to storage and go from there. But you get that, again, this is beekeeping error right here. This should have been in a 10-frame box before I got here, and we lost it. The one out at the Mechanics apiary is still alive, but I was really looking forward to splitting this hive into a 10-frame box and then maybe even growing it from there. So stay tuned. Okay, so just to wrap things up on the hives here, this hive here is doing extremely well. 2 frames of brood up here that I saw, lots and lots of pollen. I didn't add any extra pollen to them. Honey on top still. Just working their butts off, doing great. This is a small cluster in this medium box up here. I put a small pollen patty on it. You don't want to give them too much pollen because if your hive beetles are around, they will lay their eggs in that pollen patty, and then you'll have a beetle problem. So just do a small amount. Make sure you have enough that the bees can devour it within a few days, so they're not overwhelmed. That's just a supplement. They are bringing in a lot of their own pollen, which is great. Our 5-framer here, which was doing awesome the last time we were here, I did not give them enough food. So again, beekeeper error, and I lost them. I should have had them in a 10-frame box, so they were easier to take care of. I probably should have put sugar on multiple levels and not just the one level, because they were all clustered up here, and I haven't found any extra food in there. And then this hive's doing well, and this hive is doing great. Like I said, this is one that I'm gonna have to worry about swarming in the spring, in April. So hopefully I can get back here, make a split out of it, and not lose production for honey. I really don't have like production hives and honey hives. I try to take a little bit of honey from all my hives, and I try to keep them separated by region. If I pull honey from down here, I extract that separately from the farm. And then when I do my backyard and the garden apiary and the mechanic apiary, those are all the same area. So I pretty much keep those together. But the farm and this Madison apiary, I separate into different batches. So I have 3 different batches, and they're different colors and different flavors. Most people seem to like the real dark honey, which I got last year from here, and I got it like 5 years ago from here. And it really is. It kind of tastes like molasses. And I was told that somebody grew buckwheat in the area probably, and that's buckwheat clover or whatever. And that's why it's a dark color and a good flavor to it. Thank you for watching Bee Loft by Liptech. Again, we're trying to expand and get to 150 subscribers, and then on to 200, and then hopefully up to our 1,000 subscribers that's necessary to monetize the channel. So I really appreciate you watching, and like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Like I said, let me know what you want to see. If you want me to focus on one hive, one apiary for a while, just to keep things going. I try to do a little update from each one, and it goes in spurts, and Jordan tries to post them as she gets them. So, just to keep the channel fresh every couple few days. Now that we have 5 videos now, because I did all 5 apiaries. So over the next 2-3 weeks, she should get all those out. I'm gonna be out of town again at the end of the month for a week. So hopefully I don't know if I'll get back into the bees before I leave, or if I can oh no, I haven't done the backyard apiary yet. I still have to go home and do that today. About 5:30 in the afternoon. Made it back from the Madison apiary. We're going to be checking the bees here. You can see the bees flying. Still light out. Of course, we sprung forward. I do prefer the standard time, not this daylight savings time, but gives us extra time to get in the bees now. It's like 75 degrees right now, which is about 22 degrees, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius. And it's supposed to be like 80 degrees on Friday, but I figured let's get in here today. That way it'll free me up to do some other things on Friday. So stay tuned and we'll get into these hives. So it is so nice today that these bees are quite active, doing well. This is a 3 deep with a medium on top. I didn't get it down to the double deep that I wanted to for winter. And you can see there's just a ton of bees here, and they're pretty calm. A couple of my other hives today, if you waved your hand over it, the bees would just come up and attack you. So I'm just going to feel this top hive here, or top hive box, and see how much weight we have left in here. This is completely empty. Grab our frame holder. By leaving mediums on, a lot of times the queen has been getting up into the mediums and laying on all my hives. I usually don't want to have like a double medium and a deep, but it's okay. I'm as Mike Berry says, is how I do, not how you need to do it. Sometimes you just run into problems, and you just got to go with it. All right, so I got some fresh brood here. I'm looking for the queen real quick. I don't see her. But we're going to put this back in here. The sugar I had on this one is completely gone. Here's the remnant of the newspaper that's left right on the edge here. That's all that's left. And bees are doing good. I'm probably going to pull this box off and check the box below real quick and check it for weight. Yeah, here's our cap brood here. You can see that. Cap brood there. So, not thrilled with the number of hive beetles I'm seeing already this year. Usually I don't see this many this early in March, so I'm going to have to get to my salt and vinegar spray and get that out around the ground here to make sure I sour the soil, as I like to call it. Keeps the weeds from growing, and I think it does affect the hive beetles. So let's look down real quick on the next one. I might have to go get a piece of newspaper to add some sugar to this. There's no weight, not much weight on this top box. Let's see if we got any honey down below here. Starting with the third frame over, just because there's so many bees. Oh my goodness. There are a ton of hive beetles down here. You can see all those. Look at all those hive beetles. So that's not a good sign already. Said it did a good job of raising beetles all winter. So let's see if we can take care of some of these. Put this off to the side, see if we can get some of these beetles to go fly away. I want to see if I can find some honey in this hive. Make sure that they have enough food. If not, I need to put some sugar on this one again. There's my beetle trap. Let's get that with this hive. This frame come up. Oh, we got some nectar coming in. Let's see if we can get that to show up on the camera here. So right over here on the side, let's see if I can get it to glisten. Really can't. But right in here, there's some fresh nectar. Oh, there you go. You can see it there. Fresh nectar, pollen, and there's our brood. So we're looking good here. Set this back in here. Make sure our beetle trap doesn't fall. Oop, 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 oop. Almost lost the beetle trap. Might put an extra trap or two on this one. There's just so many beetles. I've never seen this many beetles. And like I said, this is my 11th year beekeeping. And this is a lot of beetles for early March. And I don't know why so many would survive. Except for this is such a quality hive. Quality queen. Yeah, they're packing this with pollen. So I'm not going to give them any extra food. I'm going to let the bees take care of themselves. Or not any extra pollen, I should say, but I am going to give them extra sugar. As I don't want them starving out when they're just starting to brood up. All right, I'm going to grab some sugar and some extra beetle traps to stick in here. and hopefully our beetles go into them and eliminate some more that way. I'll be back with you shortly. All right, so now we're in the second hive here. I almost had a disaster on that first hive. I went to pick that medium back up, and I caught it on another hive here and kind of dropped it into the lid, which knocked a lot of bees off, and I was not happy. Glad I wasn't recording, because it would have been pretty embarrassing. So as you can see, these bees here are a little more feisty. They came up on me, so I'm just going to give them a little bit of smoke just to help them calm down. And I'm going to just check a couple of these frames here real quick, because I want to make sure, check our honey stores, and then get into the bottom box. This is 2 deeps and a medium. Like I said, I'd prefer to get them down to 2 deeps for winter, but yeah, that one's a little fat to pull out, so I'm going to go to the third one here. Let's see what we got going on. It's pretty heavy. So yeah, plenty of honey on this one. Again, lots of beetles. I'm not sure where all these beetles are coming from. Why they were able to survive the winter so well. Except that I had a real strong hive. So I'm just trying to knock these off. I'm not going to spend all day here knocking them off. If I can keep them out of the hive, all the better. Hopefully when the bees get a little stronger here, they'll drive them out of the hive, and they'll end up dying. Like I said, I wish I had some chickens. I could control these beetles a lot better. So we'll just set that right there for now. We'll make sure that they're not brooding in the top box here. Let's get over here to the middle frame. Because there are a lot of bees in these middle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seams. So yeah, that's all honey. More beetles. A lot more beetles. Let's see if I can knock some of these off real quick with my tweezers that I have here. I'm going to need to get the Beetle Sucker 5000 or whatever the I forget his first name, that bug farmer down in Georgia. He has a channel called Bug Farmer. He's a beekeeper, and he's got this little mini vac he calls the Beetle Sucker 2000 or 5000, and he sucks up the beetles. Said I've never seen this many beetles in the spring. I mean it's not even spring yet. It's only March 12th. So we have another week before spring. So we have our brood right there, looking real good. Nice cap brood. They're gearing up for spring. Yep, got some brood on this side too. I don't see the queen. Looking for her. So that's what we want. So I'm going to put this back in here. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this one for splits. I'm going to get another beetle trap. I'm going to open this one back up. I got a lot of work to do here. I need to melt wax and go through all my boxes. Make sure, do a quick visual, make sure they're ready to go. Because next time I get into these bees, whether it's end of this month or middle April, they're going to need more room. We're going to get into some splits, and in May I'll do some grafting. If you know, if I find some swarms or swarm cells, I'll make splits with those. I don't mind making splits with swarm cells, but I do like to also I do like the graft. It's a skill I'm trying to get better at, and I'd rather raise my own queens than buy them. I did buy queens. Trying to think what year that was. I think it was my 3rd year I bought 2 queens, and I wasn't real thrilled with that, for the fact that I had to, I don't think they did well over winter. So I'm going to put that over like that, and we're ready to close this hive up. Smash the hive beetle on top there. So I put the straps on these because I don't know if, you know, wind's going to come through and blow them over. If you knock them over, at least they're strapped together and won't separate. If you put them too tight, you might break your bottom boards or whatnot. So, but usually I strap them together, keep it nice and tight like that. And then now my puppies have been waiting patiently over here. We got Peyton and Hermie. Hermie is this one here. Peyton's the old one here. She'll be 13 in July. He's like 3.5 now. And they're just chilling out at the moment, but she is definitely waiting for a walk. So thanks for watching Be Loft by Liptech. We'll see you on the next video. Hopefully Jordan gets these posted pretty quick. And please like and subscribe.